Right. We've seen that business transactions occur at different stages, and each stage has a document being issued. We're going to look at the document issued at the first two stages of a business transaction. That will be the inquiry stage and the order stage. As you can see, during the inquiry stage, we have four documents issued: the letter of inquiry, a price list, a catalog, and a quotation. The letter of inquiry is a letter written by a potential buyer to the seller to find out the goods and services offered by the seller. We can either have a general letter of inquiry or a specific letter of inquiry. A specific letter of inquiry seeks information for about a particular product, where a general letter of inquiry will seek for information about all the product stocked by a given seller. The seller may reply to the letter of inquiry by sending any of the other three documents, either a price list, a catalog, or a quotation. Starting with the catalog, this is a booklet which briefly describes the goods a seller stocks. It is normally sent by the seller to the buyer when the buyer sends a general letter of inquiry. As you can see from the diagram, it usually carries illustrations on the goods stocked and could be in form of attractive and colorful pictures. The second one is a quotation. This is a document sent by a seller to a buyer in response to a specific letter of inquiry. It specifies the conditions and terms under which the seller is willing to supply the specified goods and services to the buyer. Quotations are normally in form of letters, but many large-scale businesses have pre-printed quotation forms which they readily send to the potential customers. The third document, which is a reply to a letter of inquiry, is a price list. And as you can see, this is a list of items sold by a trader together with their prices. The information contained in a price list is usually very brief and not illustrated. The price list shows the prices of the commodities at that time. After receiving the replies to inquiries in form of a price list, a catalog, um, or a quotation, a prospective buyer will study the terms and conditions stated in them and then make a decision to buy the product. And this takes us to the order stage. As you can see, there are three documents that are issued at this particular stage: an order, an acknowledgement note, and a pro forma invoice. Starting with the order, this is a document sent by a buyer to a seller requesting to be provided with specified products under specified terms and conditions. An order for goods and services, an order for goods, sorry, is called a local purchase order, as the one that you can see. Whereas an order issued for services is called a local service order. On receiving the order, the seller sends the buyer an acknowledgement note. An acknowledgement note is a document sent by the seller to a prospective buyer to inform him or her that the order has been received and is being acted upon. After sending the acknowledgement note, the seller has to decide whether or not to extend credit to the buyer. If the buyer is not credit worthy, then a polite note or a pro forma invoice can be sent to him or her. A pro forma invoice is a document sent by the seller to the buyer requesting the buyer to make payment for goods and services before they are delivered. It indicates that the seller is not willing to grant the buyer credit. Let us take some time now and respond to the following questions.